4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. $43.95, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angelo Rocha. I am the host of Vet for Vets, the show where we spotlight and showcase some of the people here in Johnson County who are veterans. Some of them are talented musicians, like our special guest today, Rex Allen. Nice to meet you, Rex.
Nice to meet you as well.
So, Rex, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Fort Worth. I'm 34 years old. I grew up in the Johnson County area, Burleson and Alvarado. And I'm just a good old country boy. And I've had a lot of fun growing up in this area. It's definitely made me who I am. It's given me a lot of insight as a person, as far as like making me stronger. There's a lot of good people in this area, like friends and family, that have taken care of me and stuff like that. And I'm just really proud to be here and live in this area and to be from here.
That's pretty cool, man. Do you have any inspirations right now as a person thinking back that kind of inspired you to be who you are today?
I think that there was very special people that were in my life. Like, obviously, my mother is a beautiful woman, sweet as she can be. She raised me right as a single mother, and she disciplined me the way that you're supposed to discipline a child, and so on. So I have her to thank for who I am. And then my grandmother being in my life, I was raised Southern Baptist. Every Sunday, my grandmother kept me in church. So just some family members that were in my life instilled those values and ethics into my life at a very early age.
So where'd you grow up in? Oh, excuse me, you grew up in Alvarado.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any friends that you kind of made, really good bond with?
Yes, yes and no. I played football for Alvarado, and I have what I consider my brother. We're not blood. We grew up together from babies, and his name is Justin Rifflogel. He's actually retired from the Air Force. Justin came from a broken home, and our families were really close to each other. And despite where Justin came from, he was always a good kid and he always did the right thing and he always made the right decisions. Me, on the other hand, I didn't come from a broken home, so I was kind of like a little, not really a spoiled brat, but I didn't come from where he came from. So a lot of times, if I was doing something wrong or something that I shouldn't have been doing, he was always kind of that voice of reason that was there for me and would tell me, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that, or maybe you should do this." And so he was always a positive influence in my life when we were younger, and he's even more of a positive influence in my life now. And they live up in the Carolinas. His wife is still in the Air Force. They got two beautiful kids. I'm just really proud of him and really proud to call him my brother as well. Love him to death, but definitely happy and thankful to have somebody like that in my life.
Well, that's a good shout out. That's about as good as you can get right there.
I
If you're
think so.
listening, thank you. Okay, so what are some of the most interesting experiences you've had growing up around this area?
Some of the most interesting experiences, I would say that at a very young age, and I'm not alone here because I've talked to a lot of my friends, there's this isn't exactly a law, it's not a lawless county to grow up in, but we get a little backwoods around here, and we didn't always have the best influences as children growing up. We saw a lot of alcoholism, saw a lot of drugs in the area. You know, we were growing up in the 90s, so this area was just kind of really backwoods, and that was what we grew up off of. And looking back, we as children in the Johnson County area, we had to grow up really fast. And I think that made us very strong for our generation. To me, I consider being 34 years old, I don't consider myself a millennial. I'm right on the cusp, like the .com generation. And I feel like we're the last strong generation that there was that like still works hard, still believes in doing the right thing and stuff like that. And this area is what made us that way because we had to grow up so fast because we didn't always have the best influences around us. And so, yeah, definitely a good place to live. You know what I mean?
Did you have any harrowing experiences while you're here living in Johnson
Heroing,
County? Harrowing.
like to be
Scary situations that you can,
oh
because you're talking about you grew up kind of in the backwoods area. So did you
yeah.
have anything you'd like to share
Oh, that's
about
funny.
Johnson County that you want to share with the folks?
So I remember one time me and my buddy, I'm gonna leave his name out of this. We were like 17 years old. We were drinking pretty heavy and we were just back roading it and he flipped his truck and we were in a ditch and I remember like getting out and then like I had blood on my face because I busted my head open a little bit. It was just a little scrape or whatever, but it looked way worse than it was. And I remember I'll never forget like just looking at 917 and looking at the wreckage and then like wiping the blood off of my face. And there's actually a line because I grew up on County Road 604 in Alvarado. Uh, there's a line in this song called 604 that I wrote, and it goes, "Well, I was baptized by my own blood, just a drunken teen right off of 917," and that's the actual lyrics
Oh wow.
to the song. So yeah, that was kind of a scary moment. I think if anything, it kind of pushed me further into doing crazy stuff. Not necessarily illegal or bad stuff. It's just I've kind of grown up with this thought process that the closer you are to dying, the closer you are to living. So, football, joining the army, combat, climbing cell phone towers, attempting to ride a bull. Just like I said, the closer you are to dying, the closer you are to living. So, I think something like that at that early of an age kind of pushed that adrenaline in me to be kind of a crazy guy for a little bit.
That's pretty cool, man. You've had a really good life, man. Well, 34 years old. I mean, I can't say that. I'm 43 and I feel like I still have a lot to accomplish.
I think
You've already accomplished quite a lot.
I have accomplished a lot. I've done a lot of things in a short amount of time. I think I have a lot more distance to go. I have a lot more things to learn. I'm still growing as a person, still growing as an artist, still growing as a father, still growing as a child of God. We're constantly evolving as people and learning life through a different perspective. And I think that I like to put myself in different positions so that I can see why this person does acts the way they do or I think it's just really good to put yourself in situations that are going to give you a different perspective of the life that we live.
Okay, so in high
Queso.
school,
You
I
keep
had.
saying queso, and it's making me think of cheese.
Yo, man, you know what? I've been told that. Actually, I think it's me mentally telling me I need some queso. I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
I had a teacher named Mike Landy, Mr. Landy. He was my inspiration to be an artist, painting, drawing, ceramics, stuff like that. Who can you say was your inspiration to kind of get you into the world of music?
Okay, so it's really funny, and I said queso. It's funny, I was thinking about
It's a Southern thing, man.
I
We all
know,
say it.
yeah, and
Fixing too.
fixing to, what are you
What are
about to fix?
Yeah,
What's
my
broken?
sister says that all the time. It's like, what are you fixing to do? It's like, oh, stop.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. So when I was in 7th grade, I moved down to the Austin area for a little bit, and I was in junior high and Leander Middle School down in Leander, and I wanted to go to choir. I love singing. Singing is one of my favorite things. I've literally been singing my
No
entire
way.
life. Yeah. And so I was like, I want to do choir. So I joined the choir in 7th grade. In 8th grade, I was in varsity choir. And then all through high school, I made varsity choir my freshman year of high school. But when I was in 7th grade, my choir teacher, his name was Mr. Goad, which is Marvin Goad. Shout out to him. I looked him up recently just to see how he's doing. And he's still down in the Austin area. Looks like he's doing some really great things. He was a really, 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 really good teacher. And he just had this passion for music and passion for teaching. And he instilled a lot of things in us at a young age. And I just really would like to thank him one day. And I kind of want to like, if there comes a point, when there comes a point that I exceed and I make it really well, and let's say I'm on the charts or whatever, I would like to just come visit him and surprise him and maybe give him like a small award and just tell him, thank you so much for instilling those values in me as a musician at an early age and being part of that foundation.
Oh,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, I would love to do that. So, Marvin Goad, if you're listening, thank you for being an awesome teacher.
That's fantastic, Rex.
Almost got a little teared up there.
Hey, if you get teared up, I completely understand.
Yeah.
Some people get emotional about talking about people they've loved. People that kind of
Yeah,
were
when
really
you
good
start
mentors.
thinking about it and just the
Yeah.
thought of like them not even having an idea. I seen a math teacher the other day. Miss Cox was her name. She
Yeah.
was my 5th grade math teacher. Just a really sweet lady. Just when at this age, I guess when you look back on it, like those people didn't have to help you out. They didn't have to teach you, but for some reason they had this passion to teach children. And looking back on it, I had a lot of incredible teachers growing up in this area and a lot of incredible coaches and stuff. And I really wouldn't be the person that I am without the foundation of those teachers and those coaches. So growing up in this area, I'm very thankful to have gone to school in Johnson County and just to have those role models and stuff like that as well. So
I can't say how awesome that is. There's a lot of people that can't say they have an inspirational role model. Some people really haven't made anything of themselves.
Mhm.
So it's high school. You're a senior in high school. What made you decide to join the military?
Actually, I never made it to my senior year. So when I was growing up, I was on my own about 16, 17 years old. I was staying with my aunt in Alvarado. We weren't really getting along very well. I just moved back from the Austin area, so I was in and out of different schools. It was really chaotic. So I was living with my aunt, and then it just wasn't working there at all. And when I was 17, I had to get out of school, and they actually allowed me to get out of school as long as I got my GED within 6 months. So I got my GED like I was supposed to, and I was living in Keene. I got this trailer in Keene when I was 17. It was like
That's a song right there.
it was literally $100 move-in special to move into this trailer.
You just wrote yourself a song. You know that, right?
Oh, I do it. My whole life is a song.
Keene.
17 and Keene. There we go. Okay. It's better
That's
than
good.
17 and clean.
Yeah, clean. Yeah.
But no, so I was living on my own at 17 or whatever. I was into some stuff that I shouldn't have been into, and this pretty little girl moved in next door to me,
Oh boy.
and next thing we know, I got a child on the
Yep.
way, and then I was just kind of looking at my life, and I remember she called me, and she was all hormonal, obviously, said some stuff that really hurt my feelings, and I just kind of like laid there on my couch, and I remember I started to pray. I prayed to God, and I was like, I'm really sorry for the stuff that I'm doing, the life that I live in. I know that it's not right. Just give me a sign to do something better with my life so that I can take care of this child. And I started thinking of my grandfather, and I had lost my grandfather at an early age, and he was kind of the only dad that I had in my life. So I started thinking about him, and I made my grandpa a promise when I was like 4 years old. I told him that because he was in the army, that I was going to join the army. And because he was a police officer after the army, I was going to be a police officer. And because he went to college, I was going to go to college. And I looked up to him because he was my father figure. And so that came across my mind that I had made that promise to him, and he was no longer here. And I'm just a 17, 18-year-old kid. I've got a kid on the way. What do I do? I went to the army recruiter and I signed up for the army. And within 3 months, I was in basic training in Fort Jackson.
Oh my goodness.
hmm
How was MEPS?
MEPS was cool. It was different. I'm not from the city at the time. I was from the country. I'm not used to being in buildings. It felt like I was in a hospital. I remember there was a lot of questions. I felt like everything was a test, but then I also felt like they gave me a test and I did great on it. I got 76 on my ASVAB, 110 on my GT scores.
Wow.
Pretty much get any job that I wanted in the military. And then I found out that I was red green color deficient.
Oh boy.
So that cut all my jobs in half. And they asked me, they said, what job would you like to do? I wanted to do something like computer tech or whatever. And they were like, you can't do that. You can't see the pixels properly. I was like, I can see a computer just fine. They were like, well, it's not going to happen. And they were like, but we have this job over here and it offers a $20,000 sign-on bonus. And I was
Ooh.
like, $20,000. I couldn't fathom $20,000 at 18 years old. And then I was like, okay, so what's the job? And they were like, it's called a 92 Sierra. So they showed me this training video, and I'm watching this training video, and I see like this machine pull up, soldiers are jumping off of the machine, a platform comes down. I'm like, is this a rocket launcher? Like, what's going on? And then like I see these giant like tubs and stuff, and they're throwing stuff in the tubs, and these soldiers are like really, really getting it. I don't know what I'm watching. I'm like, what did I just watch? And they were like, that is 92 Sierra shower, laundry, and clothing repair. I'm like, that was laundry?
That was laundry.
That was the coolest laundry I've ever seen. And I was like, and the sign-on bonus is 20,000. They were like, yeah. And so I was like, do we use Tide or so? And then so that was how I
that would
signed
have
up.
been my response too. I
Yeah.
gotcha.
That's how I said no bleach. Okay, got it. So that was how I enlisted in the military, and I became a 92 Sierra, which is quartermaster. And I really enjoyed almost every moment of my military career. I almost enjoyed.
What was your first base that you were on again?
So, basic training, I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and then I went to AIT, which is tech school. I went to Fort Lee, Virginia, and then my tech school was supposed to be like 4 months long, which is really short for tech school. But because I mean, I joined in September of '07. We were getting close to 2008, me being in tech school, and our tech school got dropped down to 6 weeks. So from 4 months to 6 weeks, and then it got dropped down to 4 weeks because there was a high demand for deployments. And so after that, I got shipped to Fort Drum, New York.
Oh no.
And in 90 days, they prepared us for combat. And I deployed with 10th Mountain out of Fort Drum. And we went to Kuwait. And then from there, I was out of Baghdad, Iraq. And then it just keeps going.
Yeah, just went on from there. We'll get to your moment
Right,
in
yeah,
Iraq
yeah.
on the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
half. I'm just kind of getting to know you as a person.
Got you.
Who would you say you are right at the moment when you joined basic training? How would you say you are as a person?
I was a
Disciplined, undisciplined. You know what I mean?
I had discipline. I had self-discipline. I was a young kid. I was a football player, so I had that structure in football, especially playing like varsity and stuff like that. Like you just had to have that, and it separated you from regular kids that went to school because there was a different type of discipline, which is very similar to the army discipline, sort of when it comes to physical,
Teamwork.
yeah, teamwork, camaraderie, and stuff like that. So I already had that. The only thing that I was lacking at that age was just structure. I just didn't have the proper role models in my life at that point in time. So I was a kid and I was lost when I first got to basic training, and I was really, really scared. I didn't know what I just signed up for.
Do you think the Army kind of helped you with that?
I think it I think that it's 50-50. The army helped me in a lot of ways, and then it also didn't help me in a lot of ways.
I know what you mean.
But sometimes I see them and sometimes I don't. And if you ask me in 10 years from now, my answer is going to be different. If you ask me 10 years ago, my answer is going to be different.
Do you have any funny basic training stories you want to share that you
Oh,
can think of? Maybe even AIT stories. I have thousands, but this is about you.
so I remember in basic training, there was a Burger King on the other side of our PT field. And in basic, you just eat chow food all the time. And it's not really bad food. It's cafeteria food. And you're going from civilian life to being a soldier, but you have in basic, you have no access to any type of like fast food or anything like that. So every morning when we go to do PT and you'd start smelling Burger King across the lot, and it was
That's the
really
worst
it was
location.
torturing.
Oh,
It
it
was
is
it was a
torture.
lot. It
That's
really was
BS right
torture.
there.
Yeah, it's BKBS. And so I wasn't involved in this, but five soldiers snuck out one evening and went to Burger King like right when we were all like lights out. But Burger King's still open at lights out, because we're
Hmm.
going to bed early. And I thought I seen something going on, but I wasn't really sure. And then next thing I know, drill sergeants get out of your bunk. They're yelling and screaming at us. We're toe to line, and we got five soldiers missing, and that's a lot of soldiers to be missing at one time. Well, they got caught over at the Burger King getting food, and one of the soldiers had gotten some patches at the PX that he wasn't supposed to get and was trying to rank himself up, didn't know how to wear his uniform correctly because there's a difference in wearing your uniform in basic versus outside
Correct.
of basic. And so they got caught and they got hemmed up, and we got smoked for like 3 hours straight,
Oh,
like a real good smoking. But then after that, we all laughed about it. It was real at the time, it was super serious. Like we were on lockdown. We're talking UCMJs getting kicked out of the army. Did you know about this? You're gonna get kicked out too. Well, I didn't go. Like, how am I gonna get,
yeah.
so it was a really scary time. But then after like I said, after the fact, we all laughed about it, and those five got called the BK5. That's what they got
Oh,
dubbed as.
nice. The
Yeah.
BK5.
The
That's
BK5.
fantastic. Do you remember any of your drill sergeants from basic training?
I remember Drill Sergeant Marks, and he was a huge influence in my military career. He started the foundation of my military career. He was infantry. He was first cav. He deployed several times with first cav out of Fort Hood. Um, he was from Texas. He was just a good old country boy. I don't think that I have to say it, but he was African American.
Okay.
He was short and stocky. He was very, very strong. He was everything that you could imagine a real soldier being. You know what I mean?
I understand.
And I feared him. I was scared of him. Just tiny little skinny white boy, from the country, and this big old corn fed comes in,
Yeah.
and he looked scary.
Yeah.
He scared me a lot, but he knew how to use that fear in us as young kids and teach us how to use that fear and control it and use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
And I learned so much from him, and just learning how to face my fears, and how not really I never stood up to him. Don't get me wrong. I never stood up to that. But there was a huge difference in meeting him versus telling him goodbye. Like I had made the proper transition from civilian to soldier, and he did a great job.
Okay, so you get done with basic training, you graduate, you go to AIT in Fort Lee, you said.
Fort Lee, Virginia.
How was that little experience in AIT? AIT is Advanced Individual Training.
Mm-hmm. It was fun. We finally got some not really experience, but we got a little bit of freedom. We're allowed to go out on the weekends. We're allowed to, kind of fraternize with some female soldiers and
Yep.
stuff. We're allowed to eat that fast food again. We weren't supposed to be drinking or smoking, but we did. It was a very chaotic time because you gave a bunch of young kids freedom that for the last 12 weeks haven't had any freedom. And now not only did you give them freedom, but you gave them a bank account full of money. And then you're like, yo, go have fun. And they've never been to a club before,
Nope.
never been to a bar before, never been away from home before. And now they got $1,200, $2,000 in their bank account, and you just cut them free. So it got pretty crazy there for a little bit. I wasn't very happy in AIT. It just was too chaotic. It wasn't basic training. I wanted to go back to basic because
You'll be surprised. A lot of people are like that.
I like that structure. I like that. I guess I like somebody telling me what to do because like I can do anything, but like lighting that fire under me, like I really appreciated and respected that. I like that structure. But then when it got chaotic and turned into a circus, I was just like, I'm the type that sits back and I watch everybody else do stupid stuff. And that just wasn't my style. I was there for business. I wasn't there for anybody else. I was there for myself and I was there for my son. So I wasn't very appreciative of tech school at all. You know what I mean?
Do you still keep in contact with your son?
Yes,
Okay,
I do.
well, I hope so. Because kids need that father figure. Kind
Right.
of like you needed your grandfather. Doesn't
Right.
matter how it is. Could be
He-
a father. Could be a man. Could be anybody. Really.
Right. I don't get to see him. I don't get to see my son very much. He lives up in Oklahoma with his mom. We've had a pretty good relationship and everything, but the last couple of years have been a little bit harder on us since they moved to Oklahoma, and that's just another story for another time.
I understand
Yeah.
completely. So you leave AIT.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bus or fly
I think
to Fort Drum?
we flew. We had to fly to Fort Drum
Because some
of the
people like
distance.
myself, we actually had to go by bus from
Mhm.
our AIT all the way to our first base, which was horrible. I mean, absolutely horrible.
I
Literally
bet.
spent 4 days traveling
Mhm.
by bus.
Oh, yeah.
So you get to Fort Drum. What'd you think of Fort Drum when you first got there?
Well, so I didn't know what was going to happen because we landed in JFK Airport. And then when we landed in JFK Airport, we didn't have a way to get from JFK to Fort Drum, and they didn't send anybody to pick us up. It was on us, which was really
Yeah,
weird.
that is weird.
So they send this soldier, and he was a corporal, and he's got like a little Volkswagen Beetle, and I think there was 4 or 5 of us. There's 4 of us, and he charged us $80 a piece
Oh my
to
God.
drive back to Fort Drum and drop us off.
Easy money.
And that was what he was like, you can either pay it or you can find another way
Yeah.
because you're gonna have to pay a taxi cab the same amount. So, but I was like, yeah, but a taxi would take all of us for
It's weird though
one.
that they did that.
He
to
was
you guys.
hustling us, and he got knocked down from a corporal to an E1 when we
Oh.
went overseas.
Nice.
His shit caught up to him real
Yeah.
quick, you know what I mean? But no, me and him are actually cool today. He's a good friend. We're past that. He's made up for that $80 by now.
Okay. When we get back, we're going to talk to Rex Allen and talk about his life in deployments, and then maybe listen to a good song of his that he wants you all to listen. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Accelerated Graphics and Signs, 101 East Renfro, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, can handle all of your graphic needs. Need a banner or promotional products for your business? They got you covered. T-shirts and caps for your group. All you need to figure out is if you want them screen printed or embroidered. How about some slick graphics on that hot ride to make you stand out from the crowd? Accelerated Graphics and Signs can handle anything you throw at them. Located at 101 East Renfro Street, Suite C in Burleson, Texas, go in and see them. Call them at 817-991-0523 or reach them on the web at www.acceleratedgraphics.net. They are loud and proud and want to serve you. Accelerated Graphics.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379 or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Angelo Rocha. I am the host of Vet for Vets, a show where we spotlight and talk about veterans who live in Johnson County. We appreciate their service. Rex, I just want to tell you, happy Veterans Day, belated Veterans Day. I got some free meals, some really good meals. I had a couple friends of ours, previous guests, like Bobby Riley. He was telling me, man, he was going to spend all day going around town getting free meals. And I do appreciate that. They do that for veterans here in this area. I know a lot of blue cities and a lot of Democrat-run cities don't usually have a lot of things for veterans. If you can say one thing about veterans to the young folks and what it means to be, what would you say would that be?
As a veteran,
As a
speaking
veteran, yeah,
to young
speaking
folks.
to, say you have your son in front of you,
Okay.
and you tell him, hey, this is what it means to be a veteran and why it's important to respect them and to honor them and to cherish what they've brought to this country. What would you say to him?
I think I would tell them, let's look around at what we have in front of us and what we have to be thankful for. And I would ask them, hey, son, hey, daughter, cousin, whatever, what are your favorite things in your life? And if that child was to say, I'm really thankful for my mom and dad, I'm really thankful that I can go to school, I'm really thankful that we have a vehicle that takes us to school, I'm really thankful that we can go to Chicken Express on Sundays.
Exactly.
And listen to them explain all the things that they're thankful for, and then show them, if it wasn't for veterans and what we do and how we come together as a team to make this country safe and free, we wouldn't be able to have those things that you're so thankful for. So if you're happy with those, imagine all those things being gone and never being able to have them. And that's what it means to basically be a veteran. Without them, we wouldn't be able to enjoy the life that we have.
Man, great answer. You didn't even plan that. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we go on any further, I just want to mention that Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com. That's TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch. And the station app is also available for free. You believe that, Rex? It's actually free.
Mm-hmm.
You can just go there, download Apple or any type of Android devices.
Nothing's free.
Yeah, they say that, but it is. You can actually download it. Simply search your store, wherever that is, Apple or Android. Check out our lineup and more at jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more are brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's TEXHAIL. That's 844-839-4245. And also, be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. That's THETIFFIE.com. That is Tiffany's actual store. It has a lot of great things in there. I highly recommend you go to it. I've had friends say nothing but good things about it. And then now here comes the part. It's always, I always get emotional talking about it. Okay. There's a phone number. If you are a veteran, you are feeling depressed, you feel like you're down. I know me as a veteran, you as a veteran, I'm sure you go through moments where you're depressed. You need somebody to talk to. Sadly, a lot of our friends couldn't talk to somebody. They were too proud to call somebody. But I just want to mention that there is a phone number for you now. A lot of people don't know about this number, which is surprising. You go to 988 on your phone. It's that simple. If you're a veteran in crisis and you're concerned about, or you're concerned about when if you're a wife, if you're a brother, you're a sister, please call the free suicide hotline. It's at 988. Yes, that's 988. Then press 1 to connect with a real qualified person to support you in your time of need. You can also text 838-255. If you want to text to somebody, if you don't feel like you want to talk to them in person, you can actually text them back and forth, and they'll shoot you positive things. They'll tell you why it's important to be around. If there's one thing, I always say ting because I'm from New Jersey, and also, I speak 4 different languages. If there's one thing to take away from today's show, would be that you are not alone. You hear me? You are not alone. The Veterans Crisis Hotline works and is there for you. Listen to me. Your life has meaning. Your life does matter. Your life means so much to so many people. Don't give up. I'm here for you. If you know my phone number and you're a veteran and you're going through a phase of depression or you having suicidal thoughts, just call me. Shoot, I'll take you out to get a beer. I'll take you out to go drive around. I'll take you to wherever you need to go. As long as I want to make sure you're alive for your kids, for your family, for your friends. Is there anything you want to mention to these veterans about suicide prevention and hotline? Maybe give your little input.
I think that it is very, very important to make sure that you seek the help that you need to, and know that there are people out there that care about you and that do love you. And I think that it's important for you to understand that you leaving this world in a manner of suicide is going to be more detrimental to your friends and family and your community than you could ever understand or ever know. It is a selfish act, and I will always stick by that. I have been there. I do understand what it's like, and I have been in those shoes, but I also understand that I'm a soldier and I'm strong and I have the heart of a warrior. And something inside me told me to click my heels together and get better and get help, put away my pride, go talk to somebody, and make sure that I get the help that I need. Because I promise you, if something happened to me, this entire county would fall apart, because there's a lot of people out there that love and care about me and need me around for a couple of years. Still got purpose, still got a meaning in this earth. And so do you. And nobody ever wants to see anybody fall like that. Remember, you're a soldier, you're a hero. You know, the bar is really high for you. You need to stick with that and make sure that you get the help that you need.
That's really good.
988. We don't hear that number a lot, but look, if you need help, call 988.
Thanks, Rex. That was fantastic. Great answer. So I'm getting kind of touchy. I got a little touchy there.
I got you.
I got a little.
Let it out. Let it
yeah,
out.
I know, man. My wife tells me that I'm too sentimental and I'm very sensitive, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Are the windows fogging up in here?
I think they are. I think they are. So you're in basic training. You're in AIT. You get to your first duty station. How long before you get deployed to Kuwait and then Iraq?
90 days.
Holy mackerel, 90 days.
I was in Fort Drum, New York. Got there. We finally got there $80 later. And I believe I was there a week before the record freeze, which got down to negative 60 below. You got the cold air coming from the Great Lakes over the mountains and then into the valley, and it makes that area just unbearably cold during a blizzard. So I thought that I'd seen snow before. I'd never seen snow before until I got to Fort Drum, New York.
Absolutely.
I've seen some
Nobody
real
knows
snow
down here. Hey, here in Texas, nobody knows how to drive when it snows.
No, they don't know how to drive when it sprinkles.
Yeah, I know, right? That's a fantastic story. So in case you're listening, wherever you are, from the East Coast to the West Coast, or in Johnson County in general, if you have a question for Rex Allen, please ask a question. You can ask him anything you want to ask, and then I'll ask him. Okay. Just want that. A lot of people are telling you, Rex, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
Thanks,
a lot of
guys.
people are saying good job to you. You're doing fantastic. And that was really well said, what you said. That was really good.
Sweet.
Of course, they're probably all family and friends.
Okay, I got you.
Okay. So you get to Kuwait. How was that a little experience?
I thought that I knew what heat was. I did not
No.
know what heat was.
I don't mind that heat because that's dry heat.
Dry heat.
Try Texas heat where it's humid.
Yeah.
You're sweating just looking at stuff. You know what I mean?
I love Texas weather. I love the Texas heat. I have no problem with that. But 130 degrees is 130 degrees.
Do you have any songs about the Texas heat?
No, I don't, but I need to write
You
one.
need to write one
I
just
need to
talking
write one.
about, you know what I'm like, talk about scorpions,
Oh, yeah.
armadillos.
I got you.
Definitely the 17 and Keen. You need to write that.
There's an armadillo on the roadside and it's 105. I'm just kidding.
Oh, are you pretty good about just making up stuff on the fly as a musician?
I think I've always been like that. I don't know what it is inside of me, but I'm very good at improv and just having fun. And I think I've really thought about going and doing some stand up at an amateur comedy night one night just to see
if
I
you're
can
good.
do it. Yeah. Because I'll be honest, I'm the funniest person I know.
Do other people feel that way too?
Nope.
Oh man.
No, everybody thinks that I'm hilarious. Everybody
No,
knows like
we had breakfast this morning or lunch, excuse me, and you were fantastic. You made me laugh quite a few times
did.
telling me your stories.
right. You gotta have fun. You gotta have fun. Life is about having fun.
So you get to Kuwait, you have your little experience with the heat, and then you get to Iraq. What are the first impressions as soon as you see all this sand and then more sand and then more sand and then just Islamic people everywhere? What do you think?
I thought that it was really dusty, and again, I was really scared. I remember going from Kuwait to Iraq, and we had to take a bus from Kuwait to Iraq. Before how did that go? I don't remember how we got into Iraq. I believe it was a bus. I remember there was a bus ride, and they gave me a loaded magazine, and I know how to use my weapon and I know how to fire my weapon, but for some reason, like we had to take our bolts out of our weapons when we were on the plane, and then take 550 cord tied on there because we weren't allowed to have our bolts in our weapons, whatever. So I had to put my bolt back in my weapon, and I could not get my bolt back in my weapon to save my life. And it was because I was so nervous and I was in a combat zone and I had live ammunition and I had to pull security on the bus that we were on. And that fear that went through my body at that given time and moment, I thought that I was prepared for combat or prepared to be overseas. And again, I wasn't. I wasn't prepared. And I was really scared and I didn't know what to do. And I remember thinking, I don't want to be here. I don't belong here. And I remember that bus ride, it was really dark outside, so you couldn't see anything. And we had a security team on us, and that security team was special forces. They were guiding us into country. And so the reality of it set in, and it was very realistic. It wasn't a game. It wasn't funny. It was very serious, and it was time to rock and roll.
Rex, what would you say was the best and the worst time you had while deployed?
The best time, I would say that the best times that I had was with two of my best friends over there, Stephen John Hamry and Cruz Noel. Those were my battle buddies. We were there from day one to the day that we walked out of there. We were on a forward observation base, FOB, called FOB Dobie, that we all built together. And being with them made it very easy. It was like having family away from home. Like, you have a choice in everything that you do. And me being from Johnson County and moving around as much as I moved, and sometimes being in a stable home or being in a chaotic home, I learned how to adapt at a very early age. So when we were over there, we just ate really good and we worked out a lot and we took care of each other and we always had each other's backs. And I would say just being with them was the best part of being in Iraq. So I love you guys. Thank y'all for having my back over there. The worst time being in Iraq, I remember, I think I was thinking about this last night. I had a very successful tour. I mean, there was a couple of hairy situations where shit hit the fan and everything, but I remember Hamry, well, he was my best friend. We called each other twins. And I'm on this fob. Well, they went out to do convoy security because we all had to pull our weight, regardless of whether we were shower laundry or not. Still had to do ECP, still had to do guard tower, still had to do convoy security. Our primary MOS is still infantry. And so we're over there. Well, he went to go do convoy security, and I remember going to the internet cafe while they were out, obviously in sector. And I went to get on the internet, and I couldn't get on the internet because the internet went down. And I found out that we were in blackout mode, and I was like, okay, we're in blackout mode. Something happened, which means that when you go into blackout mode on a fob, it means that if a soldier gets injured or dies or something like that, we go into blackout mode so that us as soldiers, we can't communicate with the family back home and tell them something that they're not ready to hear, because nobody wants to hear through Facebook that their kid just passed away. And so that's blackout mode, so that the communication can't get out. Well, I was like, all right, we're in blackout mode and something happened. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, oh shit. I was like, Hamry's in that convoy. I hope he's okay. And this is like, literally, this is my brother. And I found out that his Humvee got hit with a 155 round and blew out the tire, put shrapnel in the windows and stuff like that. It didn't hurt him, luckily, but I didn't know.
Oh,
And we
man,
had to
so
wait.
lucky.
We had to wait for a
So
while.
lucky.
Yeah, we had to wait for a while for them to come back to patrol base. And I'll never forget, like, when I heard that it was him, his Humvee.
I understand. Now you let it out.
Yeah. Well, I fell down and I cried a little bit, and then I got back up. And then I remember when he came, I hugged him. He was all smiling and stuff like that. We weren't smiling, we weren't laughing. We were really scared. We thought we just lost Hamry, and luckily he was okay and he was safe. And I think that was for me, that was one of my worst times. Just the thought of losing my best friend.
Everything you're telling me is making me. It's giving me not flashbacks, because I don't suffer from flashbacks, but it's making me remember all the times that I had situations
Right.
similar but far worse than yours.
Yeah.
And so before we get to your song, which is fantastic, stay tuned for that fucking song. It's so good. What message and life advice, Rex, would you like to leave for future generations who hear this interview?
The message that I would like to give you is that we're in a different world right now. We're in a different time. We as a civilization and a society, we are completely consumed with technology. Life is too easy right now for the civilian population. And when life is easy, it makes very weak people. It makes very weak men. When life is hard, it makes very strong men. And right now, life is very easy because our ancestors and the soldiers before us paved the way so that we could have an easy life. You wouldn't have those things and those luxuries that you have right now if it wasn't for the men and women before you that sacrificed their lives and their times with their family. You wouldn't have any of that. So you need to be thankful for that. And I know that in your mind, it's very hard to understand or comprehend that concept because you've never been put in a situation that makes your life that much difficult, that you have to figure out fight or flight or dig down deep and find the strength inside of yourself to be a better person or to be stronger. So I just want to challenge future generations or younger generations to go out and put yourself in a situation to find out who you really are. And just know that the reason that we have so much chaos in our society right now is because the parents aren't doing their jobs with children, and we're letting our children be taught and grow up through our technology. And that's not how children are supposed to be raised. And because of that, we have a terrible society right now that's becoming more and more out of control
And sensitive.
and very, very, very sensitive with your safe places and your don't hurt me and bullying and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. I promise you, it could be 1,000 times worse. And you all got it really, really, really good right now because our grandparents paved the way for us to give us that good life, and we're all taking advantage of it, and it shows in society. I just seen a 30-year-old woman the other day throw herself down in Walmart and start kicking and screaming and having a tantrum in Walmart because she couldn't get what she wanted from her boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. You're an adult. If we went back 100 years ago to the Depression era, you're not going to see that anywhere in the Depression era. So just be better. Take care of your kids. Teach your kids. Discipline your kids. Show them the difference between right and good. Make them work for what they have so that they can be responsible and appreciative of the things around us. If your kid starts getting mouthy, lippy, acting like a spoiled brat, take your kid to the side and pull everything away from them and start making them work for what they have so that they'll understand what it's like to have the things that we have and be more appreciative of it.
That's probably the greatest effing answer you could have said.
Right on.
All right, Rex, what's your song called?
My song is called God Loves the Infantry.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let Rex prepare a little bit, but this is his song, God Loves Infantry. This is Rex Allen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I've raised my right hand 6 long years after 9/11. I wish that Grandpa could have seen 18 years old in my army grave. I bound my head to pray on that long and cold deployment day. 'Cause I know the Lord watcheth over you and me. 'Cause God loves the infantry. 'Cause God loves the infantry. Boots on the ground, a rifle in my hand. I left home a boy and came back a man. Tears of fear and tears of joy. Oh, sweet mama cried the day I left, and the day we came home alive. One day we came home alive. I bound my head to pray, and I raised my right hand to salute our old flag. And I wish that everyone could see this life through the eyes of a veteran like you and me. 'Cause I know the Lord watcheth over you and me. 'Cause God loves the infantry. Boots on the ground, a rifle in my hand. I left home a boy and came back a man. Tears of fear and tears of joy. Oh, sweet mama cried the day I left, and the day we came home alive. One day we came home alive. I raised my right hand, and I bound my head to pray on that long and cold deployment day. 'Cause I know the Lord watcheth over you and me. 'Cause God loves the infantry. Postcard infantry, boots on the ground, a rifle in my hand. I left home a boy and came back a man. Tears of fear and tears of joy. Oh, sweet mama cried the day I left, and the day we came on my life. Oh, the day we came on my life.
Damn, Rex. Woo. You gave me butterflies, buddy.
Right on. It was
Seriously,
a
brother.
privilege to play that for you.
No,
too.
man, it wasn't just me. It was for the people listening,
Yeah,
for the
for
people
everyone.
watching. Yeah, you got people right there. They're watching, listening.
Okay.
If you're somebody that has connections to somebody that knows somebody about the music industry, please look up Rex Allen here at
Yeah.
the Vet for Vets. This is absolutely incredible. All right, we got a couple minutes left, Rex. Just want to tell you that song was fucking epic.
Yes.
Absolutely good. We had to kind of adjust the sound a little because it was kind of coming in a little loud at first, but
Yeah.
Tiffany did her fantastic job as she always does and just
Yeah,
adjusted
we
just
did.
right. And the next thing you know, man, you have a hit on your hands. Seriously.
Oh,
That was, I mean, the stuff that's out there right now that sounds too pop.
Yeah.
This is true country. That's about as good as it could get.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously.
Appreciate
And the
that a
highest
lot.
of compliments to you.
It means
You know,
a
I
lot.
wish you the best on this career of yours with the music. Just like I have an artistic film career,
Right.
movie career, commercial career. You know, hopefully it goes both ways.
Right.
Maybe one day I'm going to be making your first music video. Man, I
plan
would
on
love
it.
that.
I plan on it.
Yeah,
That's
man,
what I
that'd be
love.
fantastic. I mean, I can't hold you to that because I really don't know how we're going to get funding and financing. But
Yeah.
one day in the future, you just never know. Maybe I'll be directing one of your other videos
Yeah.
instead of not your first one.
Right on.
That'd be fantastic.
That would be cool.
Okay, so right now we're going to do a couple rapid fire questions, okay?
Okay.
Before we round out this show. What is your favorite song?
My favorite song, like in all.
Oh, ever.
Well, at the moment, it's "Till You Can't" by Cody Johnson, and it's a very, very good song about basically taking advantage of life the way that you're supposed to, and holding on and doing everything that you can and going above and beyond to take care of that girl that you're with, spend time with your dad, spend time with your grandpa if their loved one's asking, and like you keep chasing that dream and you keep fighting. So I think that right now that's my favorite song because it's the most relevant to my life.
And of course, that was just a lie. I really wasn't going to give you rapid fire. That was just wanting to know. Okay, you want to tell me about where you're going to be singing, so that way the people who are listening know where to go to, i.e., bars, locations.
Yeah, you can find me at rexallenmusic.com and find me on my Facebook page. A little bit later in the show, I'll be sure to make sure that I'll show you where I'm going to play next.
Tune in next week, everybody. Love y'all. Good night.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide